Hey guys, welcome to an exclusive YouTube video. This is Mani Hanif. So, if you're ever going to be closing high ticket sales on the phone, whether that's for a particular program, so if you're a coach, if you're an expert, if you're an affiliate marketer, you're going to be faced with lots and lots of objections. I call these smoke screens because the way I see it is every sale is the same. It's like going on a journey. And the strategy I have in my head is the Route 66 method, where there's a road in the US. It's called Route 66. It's a big highway that goes across, and you want to think about a sale that goes on a straight line, right? On a road. But on that road, you're going to be faced with people who will try to disrupt your journey. And for that reason, I'm going to show you in this video how to handle typical objections when it comes to high ticket sales, right? So when you're on the phone to someone, your prospect, everything's good, you've built rapport, you've managed to get into a good sales pitch, you've managed to find out their pains, you've given value, but when it comes to it, it's the objections. This is the part where most people fail. Believe it or not, this is the part where most people give up. But in fact, I'm going to give you a simple process of how to turn these objections and really get that person back onto that straight journey. Because when they give you objections, your journey is that way. Your journey is left. Your journey is completely halted. You want to continue that journey, right? So the first thing that you're gonna obviously face these objections is usually at the end of the call, right? So you've asked for the payment and you are going to get these objections. So the typical one is going to be I've outlined them here. Okay, so we have this one here, which is too expensive, right? So how are you able to handle this objective if someone really says it's too expensive? So let's say you're selling a product, you're selling a course, and it's aimed at women over 40. You're telling them how to lose weight, and the one objection you're going to get on the phone is it's too expensive. I can't afford it. So, really, too expensive usually means either two things, okay? It means number one, they actually can't afford it. Or number two, they're on the call for a reason, right? They need help. Number two, it's something else, right? So when people say it's too expensive, it's usually the fact that it's something, it's a polite way of saying no, right? Or it's something that's they're not really telling you. Okay, so you need to get to the bottom of it. So now I'm going to give you a model answer as to how I would answer this objection. So they might not see value in your offer. They might not see any value in what you're offering. Hence, it's too expensive. So I would say something like, so Mr. Customer, I've gone through the what you're going to be getting, a tailored solution to your problem. But let me ask you, what concerns you about spending that money? Do you like the idea? Yes, I do. So what concerns you about spending that amount of money, even though we're going to be working on a one-to-one basis, even though you're going to be getting a customized, tailored solution to your problem? So what really concerns you? Is it really the money or is it something else? So can you see what I've done there? I've put them in a position where I have really put them to a halt, and they're going to really ask questions. They're going to answer the question. They're going to tell you, because sometimes what you can also say is usually when a person says it's too expensive, it's more of a limiting belief because they want to wait for the right time to get started. Or sometimes it's better to get started in your worst time, because if you're going to be if they say to you, "I'm going to start in 2 weeks," well, what's going to change then? What's going to change now? Because too expensive is like a smoke screen. It's never too expensive when they go holidays. It's never too expensive when they spend money on useful stuff that's in the garage, right? These people have houses. These people that you're going to talk to have houses. These people have a mortgage. And the reason they're on the call is they need your help, right? So the one thing that you need to see is they might not see value in what you're offering, so hence it's too expensive. So you need to break it down, and from there you can offer a convenient payment plan. Number two, and this is one of the really most common ones, is usually the wife or the husband. I want to speak to my wife. I want to speak to my husband. And again, this is a smokescreen, because the way I would answer this is, so let me ask you a question, Mr. Customer. Yes, I understand you want to speak to your wife, you want to speak to your husband, but what would your husband say no to? Usually when you ask them this, the chances are they've already spoken to the wife or the husband before they get on the call, right? They've already spoken to them. So the chances are, when you ask them this question, when you've really answered this question and addressed this objection, what really happens is they're in a position where they have to tell you the truth, or more like they're like, you could ask them, are you the main decision maker? Number two, would you want your wife or your spouse to get on a phone call with us? So if they have any questions or objections, you can start the process, right? So that is how I would answer this objection. I would really get to the bottom of it, because this, again, don't let this put you off. If they want to speak to the wife or husband, it usually is a way of politely saying, I want to get off the phone. But when they say this, just get them to be honest with you. Like, are you the main decision maker? What would your husband say no to? What would your wife say no to? Oh, will this really work? We've already invested in X, Y, Z. So can you see I've broken it down exactly? I've got the main reason they want to speak to the spouse, right? And usually you want to book a follow-up call on usually the same day or the next day, but you need to do it very quickly because the desire levels are going to be high. Another one which is very common is not interested. Now, it's very rare I get people saying not interested unless they've got a reason. They would usually say not interested on a DM or an email before they get on a call. So if you get someone saying not interested, if it's because you've not really articulated your offer to them, and when you do this, you kind of fall into the trap of not really understanding your customer's pains, your customer, what is it they're struggling with, what is it that they need help in, right? So that is usually a very tricky one, but in rare occasions you get someone saying openly, "Oh, I'm not interested." They will usually give you these objections, other ones, but this one is usually you've not really done enough to sell your offer. The next one is I've invested in something else. Okay, so when a customer or a potential client is on the phone to you, everyone's happy, but then in the end they say, I've invested $1,000 in this program, I want to complete it. How I would answer this question, how I would answer this objection is, yes, I understand, you've invested $1,000 into this program. I would do the same. I would, be very careful investing in something else. But let me ask you, Mr. Customer, what is the reason you're on a call today? Well, the reason I'm on a call today is I need help. The reason I'm on a call today is I need for someone to help me. Well, what is the reason you've invested in their program? What is the reason that program is different to what I'm offering? You could also say, I've got clients who have invested in other products, but they always end up working with me. Why do you think that is? So can you see? They've given you this objection and they've not really given you the reason. So when they say something like along the lines of invested in something else, they might feel that because they've invested in XYZ, they don't want their money to go to a waste. They don't want to make it out as though they're neglecting that particular program. And another thing I would say is, yes, you've invested in something. That means, you're passionate about your education, you want to be growing your knowledge. But let me ask you, are you happy that A, you've invested in something that's going to help you achieve XYZ, or B, you've invested in something that you're probably going to leave a bunch of videos in the hard drive and you're not going to look at it? Yeah, Manny, A. Okay, so you invested in something else. Well, here's the thing. Working with me and investing in the course, in my course, will allow you to also work on that course, because I'm going to help you in that course as well. I'm going to help you excel. I'm going to give you a fast track way to achieve XYZ. Can you see exactly why people end up working with me? Because I end up doing XYZ as opposed to what you're already doing. Does that make sense to you? Okay, yes, Manny, it makes sense. From there, you can sort of get into that journey again. Get them on the journey, close. Okay, so that is another common objectives. Sometimes you will get something where someone will say, "Oh, can you guarantee this will work? What if I fail at this?" Now, usually when they say, "What if I fail at this?" it's usually down to a bad experience. It's usually down to they've invested someone in the past, they probably got scammed. So already they're having those limiting beliefs, they're having that negative thoughts in their head. And the way to answer this objection is, I understand, when I started this journey, I invested in XYZ. I lost money because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just watching a bunch of videos, and nobody told me that time that in order for you to succeed, you need a mentor. You need someone to guide you step by step and keep you accountable. Don't you agree, Mr. Customer? If you had a mentor and a guidance and someone to keep you accountable, that you're more likely to succeed? Yes, Manny. And then from there, you can get them on the straight journey. Close. Okay. Other one is no money. This is usually difficult. This is usually easy to answer, because if they say no money, I usually give the answer. Okay, so I understand you don't have any money right now, but do you like the idea? Do you like what I've just proposed to you, Mr. Customer? Yes, Manny, I do. I propose to you XYZ, how you can achieve this. This is why you're on the call. You need help, right? Okay. But yeah, Manny, I don't have any money. I've just run out. There's no one out there, they're on a call with you where they got literally no money. They're completely broke. More likely they'll have savings, more likely they'll have access to a credit card. So in order for you to answer this question in this objection is, look, there is probably something that I could probably do for you. Okay. But let me ask you this. Aside from the money, do you like the idea? Yes, I do. Is it really money? Is money the only thing that's stopping you today from investing? Yes. All right. Okay. There might be something I can do for you to break it down to you, so we can still work on a one-to-one basis. That means you would able to come onto the mentorship program. So instead of investing 5K, we can do a payment plan and we can still get you on board. Would that be something that you're willing to look into? Oh, yes. I'll be looking into a payment plan. Cool. All right. So out of the 5K, how much are you missing today? So can you see the question I've asked? If I've pitched them 5K or 4K, out of the 5K, how much are you missing today? Oh, Manny, I'm missing 2,000, 3,000, a lot. So you be very careful into how you say this, because you have to say it with a tone. So out of the 5K, Gary, I was just wondering, how much are you missing today? Because I really want to get you started on this, but just wondering, how much are you missing? I'm missing a couple of thousand. Okay, you're missing $2,000. Right, hey, why don't we do this? We invest half today and we invest half the next month. That way, you'll still come onto the mentorship program. We'll still get the full benefits, and then XYZ. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Here's my card. Let's do it. So can you see how I've broken down each objection and given a solution, right? But the most important one, which I want to also address, is this one here. So let me just duplicate this. Is this one. I need to think about it. How many times have you heard someone including myself, who said it on the phone to people in the years ago. I need to think about it. You get a phone call, I need to think about it. You would usually say, I need to think about it because you have some kind of urgency to get off the phone or something else. So if you get an objection where the person says, look, Manny, I like you, I need to think about it. What do they need to think about? Because you've given them all the details on the phone, you've explained everything and how you can help them, they've done the research, they've watched the video and the success stories. What do they need to think about? So the way I would approach this objection is, I would say, oh yeah, Mr. Customer, I agree. I would do that. I would think about it too if I had XYZ. But let me ask you, when a person says to me, I've been doing this for years and years, Mr. Prospect, when a person says to me, I need to think about it, it usually is one of two things. Number one, A, they really need to think about it, or B, there's something else which I'm not really addressed. Or sometimes in A, they can say, when a person says, I need to think about it, it could mean A, it's a polite way of saying no. Look, Mr. Prospect, I like you. I like your vibe. I like the way you come across. But because I've been doing this for a long time, I feel there's something else that's, preventing you from pulling the trigger. Out of the two, which is it? And usually 80% of the time, they will probably say, Manny, it's, this is the solution. I'm thinking I've already invested in XYZ. How do I know this will work? So then you can sort of get them onto the journey. So usually when they say think about it, it usually is something else that's bothering them. How do I trust you? Who are you? Can I see some success stories? Can I speak to someone who's worked with you? Because these are the most common objections that you're going to get. And I need to think about it can also go on with too expensive. Is money the only reason that's stopping you from investing? So let me ask you, Mr. Prospect, if you did have the money, would you invest? Yes. Why? So then can you see, I've asked them the question, why would they invest? And they'll give you, literally, they'll close themselves. The program is great, one-to-one mentoring. I think this is the solution I need. Okay, well, if it makes sense, what's stopping you from coming on board today? Money issue, we can talk about it. We can do a payment plan. We can get you on board. We can get you started rather than wait a week, rather than wait 3 weeks. Let's get you on board. Let's crack the bottle open. Let's rock and roll and let's do this. Bingo. The thing is, when you handle objections, you've got to be confident. You've got to be quickly giving them the solution, right? What I would usually do, guys, is I practice. The more you practice, the better you will be at handling objections and closing the sale. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to have some more cool stuff coming. Speak soon. Bye-bye.